Hello and welcome to Spooky Storytime. Tonight we will read several spooky stories, all of which are incredibly terrifying if really poorly written and not that good. Michael and Michelle. There was a dark, stormy night when two friends, Michael and his friend Michelle, were walking home one night. As they walk, Michael tried to put hand on Michelle. Michelle does not like hands on her, so she pushes Michael away and presses him. Michael becomes angry and pushes and presses back, except he does it harder, so he kills Michelle by breaking her brain. Michelle was dead, and Michael was really scared, so he threw her body into a sewer because there was a manhole next to where he pushed and pressed Michelle to death. So he threw her in the manhole and went home, and his mom said, "Why are you so out late?" And he said, "No reason," and went to bed. While he was sleeping, though, he heard a noise from his closet, and the door opened and Michelle came out, except she looked dead. Michael asked, "Michelle, I thought you had died." And Michelle laughed really loud, except it was a deep, scary laugh, and then she pushed and pressed Michael and broke his brain, and then she broke his mom's brain, and then his sister's brain, and then she broke everyone's brain. Reverse phone lookup. My phone, I screamed. "What happened to it?" asked my friend Tina. "The screen's all cracked." "I dropped it," I replied. "I guess I'll have to take it to get fixed." The very next day I took it to get repaired. 2 weeks later I got it back. Everything seemed fine at first, but then something weird happened. Every time I touched it I felt something grip my hand. The first time it happened I screamed, my phone, oh my god, something's touched me," I shrieked. "Calm down," said Tina. I calmed down for a while. Then the text started.
"You will die,"
read the first text.
"I will kill you."
Read the second.
"No one will miss you."
Read the third. The phone number they came from was unknown, so I decided to ignore them until I got the fourth text, which was the scariest one of all. When I opened it, there was just a picture of a bloody knife with
"Time to die"
written underneath it in red. The instant I finished reading it, the lights blew out and I heard someone breathing right behind me. I ran outside the house and made a call to my phone network. Hi there," I said. "I'm getting a weird text messages on my phone. Can you do some sort of reverse phone lookup or something?" The woman on the phone said they usually don't tell you where the texts come from, but this time they told me. The texts were sent from a phone buried in the park. The phone had been owned by a person who had died and was now buried there. I screamed, 5 days. A girl was watching TV one night. The phone rang and the person on the other end said,
5 days. Your mom's dead."
She later found her mom hanging from the ceiling with a rope around her neck. The next day the phone rang and the person said,
4 days. Your dad's dead."
Her dad drowned face down in his own sink. The next day the person called and said,
3 days. Your sister's dead."
She discovered her sister lying at the bottom of the stairs with a broken neck. The next day the person called and said,
2 days. Your brother's dead."
Her brother was found dead in a bathtub with 13 cobras biting him. The next day the person called and said,
1 day. You're dead."
She was found dead in her house the next day with a knife in her hand and several stab wounds in her chest. Did she kill herself, or did the man on the phone kill her and put the knife in her hand? Nobody knows. Lemon jelly. These 4 girls were having a sleepover, and 2 of them went to the bathroom together because they were scared, and while they were in there, they heard a scream coming from the bedroom, and they were really scared, but they went to check it out anyway. And when they got to the bedroom, they found it empty, and the 2 other girls were missing, so they started searching for the missing girls, and they looked under the bed and found one of the missing girls strangled to death, and one of the girls started to scream, and she screamed so loud her lungs fell out, and when the other girl saw this, she started to flee, but when she got to the stairs, she found the other girl lying there on the bottom of the steps, and her face was eaten by cats. So the girl ran into the kitchen and climbed into the cupboard because she didn't want to get eaten by cats, and while she was hiding there, she found a packet of lemon-flavored jelly, and she was really hungry, so she began eating it, but she was done eating it, she began to feel really sick and then puked all over the cupboard, but when she looked down, she saw that instead of jelly, she'd puked up a big pile of poo. And suddenly the poo started growing arms and a head, and the poo turned around and looked at her with big staring eyes, and it said, "I am the jelly which was eaten," and the girl screamed and ran out to the car, but it was locked, so she had to break a window to get in, and then when she shut the door and looked in the rearview mirror, there was an old woman sitting in the back seat, and the woman said, I am the woman who killed her children, and the woman had hooves instead of feet, and a tail instead of a head, and a hand instead of a hook, and a head instead of her butt. This is a true story. Well, I hope you enjoyed our spooky tales. That's all we have time for this evening. See you around.